Okay, good morning everybody and welcome to a review of Gallows Can't Be Too Kind to an Otaku episode 9. Now this week's episode, like I said to my previous video, my last video where I covered Rent a Girlfriend, I said that this week's episode is going to be a chill, relaxed episode. And like Rent a Girlfriend, Gallows Can't Be Too Kind to an Otaku episode 9 was so calmly. Here's the thing about this. One thing about this is that a trip down memory lane. I'm okay with like the bond between Amane and Ichiki has for each other. They've been friends. They've been friends. They best friends ever since. But you ever wonder how it got to this? You ever wonder how an otaku girl, an otaku gal like Ichiki, like Amane, ended up with the overhype, energetic, positive gal like Ichiki? Like, how did it end up? And you know what? I like stories. I like anime when it comes to like the backstories of how they end up with each other. You got to give us a reason how it all started and this and that. From the past to what now? I need to know how it all starts, and which we got with this. And again, this wasn't like sales. This was more like these two gals together as friends. Seeing how they got together and all that, it is nice. It is so nice to see. Like I said, this is a pure episode of this. So without further ado, let's get right to it with Gals Can't Be Too Kind to the Otaku episode 9. Now, last week we had a sleepover, a very nice sleepover with Sayo, Amane, and Ichiki. All three of them having a good time as friends, staying up late, trying to the confessions, little shower scenes back and forth. We had a lot of good memories in that episode. So now we got Amane and Ichiki friendship that happened not too long ago. You know, it's funny because I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought their backstory started off way before they were like elementary. This is like 6 months prior. This was like half a year before they even got to. So the first time we saw Ichiki, she was energetic, positivity thing going on, and Amane was still Amane at the time, being like a secretly otaku, ice woman gal like creature. Like, she is the prettiest girl in the class. Every girl and boy, everybody in the class like Amane. It's kind of like how everybody loves Komi from Komi Can't Communicate. She's the prettiest girl in class. Everybody likes Komi, you know what I mean? So like this way, it's just that. So Amane introduced herself, cold as ice as ever. I mean, every time Amane introduced herself, everyone gets the cold chills like that. With Ichiki opened up. She's like, "Hi everybody, I like to karaoke. I love music." And the thing is, when they first started, everyone was jealous of Ichiki because she sat behind. So Amane sat in the front of the desk, and there's Ichiki. And it felt like, see, there's certain like chemistries with Sayo, Amane, Ichiki. As for Sayo, he only sat there and he couldn't make any friends. But I felt bad for him. But still, this episode is kind of focused on those two. Their bond is so strong in this one. Okay, now moving on. So Amane literally looked at Ichiki and said, "Oh my God, she's from that show Glittermon. She looks exactly like the Glittermon. Oh my God!" And the thing is, you gotta remember, her backstory explains why she couldn't make friends, because she was always that 1%, like we are. That 1% who's like, there's 20 people in the class. You're that 1% talks about anime, but the 19 people talk about this and that. And I felt from Imane's pain. Like, if she would have bring up Glittermon, you think everybody in the class would know about that? That's the point. That's why I get where she's coming from. So she's trying to like, can't say it. And then everyone gave the cold chill. But when it comes to Ichiki, Amane had that little look on her face that kind of like blown her off. Now, I gotta give props to Sayu in this one. I gotta give props to my second favorite goat, Sayo. I gotta give props to Sayo on this right here. The fact that she said, this is why Gal will not be too kind to an otaku. When she said that to Amane, oh my God, Sayu, oh my God, Sayu, you're the best. Sayu's the best. She put the title in. Remember, the title called Gals Can't Be Too Kind to an Otaku. She literally said, "There is no way a gal will be too kind to Otaku." That right there is just like literally breaking the fourth wall. Talk about a fourth wall demolition. Like you never, like again, we never get titles like that where they use the title and use it as a sentences and like that. See, that's perfect. So now the next day, Amane remained friends. That's why she said that. That's why Sayu said that. So the next day, Ichiki invited her two friends and Amane to a karaoke. But then Ichiki invited 3 more people into the mix. So she invited boys to it. Little known to fact, it was kind of, to Amane, it was, here's the thing. I don't blame, like, I get why Amane was upset at Ichiki at one point. I get it, she was upset. Because, one, it was supposed to be, because, remember, Ichiki invited the 4 girls. Her, Amane, and 2 girls. That's 2 of her friends. That's 4. But instead, inviting guys into it, they're like, why did you do that? You didn't come to me. You didn't come to me. That's totally disrespectful. Like, you could have come to me and invite more people. Like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? And that, she felt so disrespectful. I get why Amane was upset. I get it. Ichiki's case, I get why she did it, because she's very likable, you know. She doesn't want to hurt people's friends. I mean, she doesn't want to hurt people's feelings. So when the guys asked Ichiki about, you guys going to karaoke, we come too, she's like, it was about her own selfishness, because she just wanted, because, you know, more friends. Well, no, they have friends, but want to be more energetic, more people, more people, the more fun. You know what I'm saying? And that's why Ichiki put down herself. And I get it. I get it. So I get why Amane said to Ichiki at that point, where it's just like, it was supposed to be us 4. But you didn't tell me that you was inviting more friends. I thought it was just us 4. Because I think Amane, remember, I thought this was when Amane didn't really have friends. So I think what they're saying is, Amane starting slow with just 3 friends. Amane starting short with Ichiki and 2 other friends. That's fine. That's fine. But you invited more people. That's putting a lot of pressure on Amane. So that's why Ichiki was all that. So next, but again, Ichiki was absent, and Amane felt bad because her friends told her that she wrote down a list. She wrote down things, what to do or what to say, you know, anything to just having these conversations before Amane to make friends. But you know, Ichiki didn't stay because she was sad. She stayed because her two little brothers were sick. So they both apologized, and after that apology, they became best friends. They became best friends, to the point where Amane confessed to Ichiki, like, I'm a Glittermon Otaku, and then Ichiki's like, oh, I know, you don't have to tell me. So the truth's already out. She already know. And I like how everything lingered to the effect of, like, okay, new sitting arrangement, and it's like go right towards the first episode with Ichiki and Seo sitting next to each other, then Seo to it. So it's like, I like where this is going. See, this whole entire episode was the prequel to episode 1. That's why I like it. It was such a prequel episode leading to how these 3 were destined to be together. I mean, they're destined to be his friends, quote. But still, this was a pretty good episode. I like the bond and friendship that Amane and Ichiki has for each other. Their friendship is so effing strong. I mean, like, you got Amane who loves Otaku and made friends with a gal who's not into anime but slowly get into it. You can see they, like, their friendship is so tight, like, for real. I love it. And again, I like this episode because it's a prequel to how it got to Seo. You know what I'm saying? It was really, really nice. It's like, this anime Glittermon thing has got them together. This just shows you that anime can bring people together, despite if you're a gal or not. Anime will bring people together, and like this episode, it did. So thank you for watching my review of this show. I look forward for next week's episode of it, and I'm sure you will.